Hello, hello. Hey, how are you? Good, thank you. Yeah, I like this one. This one is called Lofty Hip Hop Coffee Chill Walk. Yeah, we're gonna do a little bit of reading. You like the words of the day? Yeah, hold on. Nictitate. You say nictitate? Nice tate? Nictitate. Yeah, it was one of the words of the day. Yeah, we had nictitate, ostensibly avant, oculation, stereoscopic, premonstration, metascopy, metoposcopy, prima facie, premonstration. Nictate is to blink, yeah? Means to blink. Yeah, that's a fun word to do for today. It's hard for me to see that too. That stuff shows up really good, but the other stuff, you don't even see it when the light's hitting my eyes this way and the way it's hitting the screen. Don't even see that at all, but that shows up really good. Yeah, the darker background helps it stand out, so let's see. Cool. That's awesome. Okay. Yeah, we'll do that. I like to keep this on. I like to keep it, right here because it has the thingy on the tip, so I can use it on my phone. It has a level on it, so if I need to make sure something's level. I'm pretty good at eyeing things out, but I like to, check my work sometimes. And I have a ruler too. I know, how cool is that? Good. We're gonna finish the word. You want a view of the sky while we read? I really hope so. We are almost done with this one. Page 151. But precisely because they go so deep and take so firm a hold, the signs of grace are also an obligation. Baptism is not only a right and a claim, but an increased obligation. The Lord's grace is given me for my own, a grace for sin and redemption. In baptism I am called upon to atone with him, because the Lord has atoned for me. The Lord's atonement and the atonement which is required of me are not unconnected. If the Lord, in his guiltlessness, has expiated my guilt, how much more must I, who am guilty, atone with my Redeemer, even though my expiation, more closely considered, is only a manner of speech? And in the same way, the grace given me demands that I should be open to God, which means confession. It is only through grace that confession becomes an act of disclosure, and it is only in the light of grace that I see what I am and what I would be without the grace of God. Then confession becomes an act of redemption in which my sin is taken away by God more readily than it is shown and offered by man to God. And finally, the communion. The grace of God is given us for our own in such a way that the flesh and blood of the Lord passes into our spirit and our flesh, so that when the Father sees us, he cannot do otherwise than see us in possession of the grace of his Son. There was also truth in the Old Testament, in the Old Covenant, for there too God spoke the truth, but it was a truth adapted to man, a commensurable truth. That is why men thought they could make sure of it in the form of wisdom. The truth of Christ, on the contrary, is incommensurable, for it is boundless. The essence of truth is like the essence of grace altered in passing from the old to the new covenant. Formerly, the truth could be grasped in certain proportions, doctrines, dogmas, rites. It was tied to a visible reality. Its parts could be joined together to form a significant, coherent body in which each part of the truth had its place and fulfilled its function. The parts were finite and coherent. The whole could be seen as a whole, more or less. Each one of God's words had its prescribed meaning, and the various aspects of truth were complementary to one another. But since Christ brought us the truth, since the infinite Word of God was made flesh, the truth is no longer finite and divisible. For each individual word I'm going to reread that sentence. Hold on a second. I'm going back a few sentences. Hold on. The parts were finite and coherent. The whole could be seen as a whole, more or less. Each one of God's words had its prescribed meaning, and the various aspects of truth were complementary to one another. But since Christ brought us the truth, since the infinite Word of God was made flesh, the truth is no longer finite and divisible. For each individual word of God contains the fullness in truth. From now on, it no longer matters whether the Lord speaks at length or briefly, whether he speaks or remains silent, whether we understand much or little. All that is not very important, for the Word of God was made flesh and dwelt among us. Yeah, so a lot of people are throwing out kind of analogies or atonements to that. All that is not very important. It wouldn't matter if they said a lot or a little. They could sing the phone book. I don't care what we watch as long as it's with you. I don't care where we go to eat. I'm just happy to be here with you. I don't care. I'll eat whatever you want. Well, I mean, I have standards. What's that? Steakhouse? Yeah, I go to steakhouses sometimes. Just because I don't eat red meat. I mean, they have fries there. Actually, what is it? Texas Roadhouse. They have a really good sweet potato dish. I bet you would like it. Right. I mean, as long as I don't gotta go in the water. As long as we're gonna jump in first thing and go deep. No, whatever, as long as you don't break the law. I don't care. You have fun all you want as long as you're safe, right? I don't want anybody to get hurt or arrested. So how do you know? Were you taught those things or did you learn them on your own? You were kind of shown it a little bit, but you were around a bunch of people that said, fuck them, fuck the system, fuck the police. Right, just be very defiant. Mm-hmm. Ooh, that sounds daunting. Is there another card I can pick? Any card? Right. So it's strange, right? I know when that's supposed to be okay, anything but breaking the law. And then when you're surrounded by people breaking the law and you're like, well, hold on a second. Oh, it's okay because why? Right. I mean, I get it. I totally get it. Right. So see, we draw the line. We're killing innocent people, targeting killing innocent people with groups of psychotic people ready to get revenge. Solidarity, brother, for whatever they were wronged for, or if they don't feel wronged, I mean, they'll find one of their great grandparents that might have been wronged or spoken to badly by some supremacist. Were supremacists, was that a word back then, or supremacy? Have you ever seen that movie Primal Fear with Richard Gere and Edward Norton? That's a really good movie. Fantastic acting. Superb, really. Hats off. Yeah, Color of Night with Bruce Willis. Another great movie. Put those two on the watch list for a rainy day. Or sunny. You can close the shades and make it dark and put on the rain machine and pretend like it's raining. You won't even know the difference. I mean, it gives that, ambiance and feeling. Feng shui. Right. Yeah, I sure hope so. Yeah, so we draw the line at the murder of innocent people and fucking little kids. Yeah, that's where we draw the line. Right, we have a lot of sick people around here involved with a lot of the tasing and the hazing. Oh my gosh, it's endless, huh? The investigations, protecting who? Yeah, okay. Absolutely fucking disturbing and sick what these nasty cunts and pieces of shit around here have been doing, and I really hope the proper authorities do what they can do to help our children who are in the custody of sick, murderous pedophiles. These are facts. Yeah. We're not making any demands or threats. We don't even expect them to smack them on the wrist. Yeah, I mean, we're comedians sometimes. Improv class, different classes we're in. We make jokes. I know, right? They should take Clinton and Pelosi. I know we used to make jokes. They should make a couple crosses and put them up on top of the building. And we'll strap them to the crosses and light them up. And we'll call them the Twin Twats. It's not really a plan. No, nothing we'd actually do. I mean, even if we could, why would we? That's inhumane. Yeah, it's just a joke. You know how you make jokes sometimes? Yeah, you make jokes about that kind of stuff too, don't you? How hard they fuck our children. I know it's funny when you think it's a joke and you're just speaking directly to the psychos who are making it up. I know, it's weird. They're lost in their Netflix nasty fucking worlds. So hopefully the proper authorities do what they're supposed to do to bypass these people. Yeah, if I were you, dude, I'd sell your businesses and get the fuck out of here. What's been going on here at the Governor Hill Mansion? The private investigator in 2009 was trying to tell them. And it's really sad how that hasn't really been addressed yet, and what the people around here still say. It makes you want to fucking take someone's head off. Believe me, the rage and anger that a lot of people feel when they start questioning people around here about that. They ask them about the little boy that got beat up in the tub. Huh? It was just a whack. Little brat probably deserved it. Right, so that's already been said, done, heard, and pissed a lot of people off. We tried telling them. Yeah, some people don't seem to think too much of it and just want to shrug it off because they're very much one-track mind, gung-ho. Yeah, okay. Yeah, they're just right from the get-go protecting these fucking punks and gamers and pieces of shit and investigators. A lot of them are good people. Yeah, there's just a handful of them that are way overstepping their grounds. Yeah, which is all fine and dandy. Like I said, we draw the line at the murder of innocent people and fucking our children. Yeah, sorry. Remember when they vaccinated him behind our back and we had to shrug that off in 2013 after years of dealing with these hags and pieces of shit deeming us dangerous schizophrenics for not vaccinating? Right, so when you look at the experts and the people that we've been working with for decades since we were kids, they've been pretty appalled at a lot of it too, and many of them have been targeted as well with other things. They get distracted with a lot of the stuff going on. They get book deals or they get killed, you know? Yeah, or what do you call that? An upgrade? What do you call that when you get bumped up? I mean, depending on which way you're going, getting bumped up could mean good or bad, right? Because you want us to bump up the charges or bump up your place of employment here. You want to go to the next level? More benefits, more pay, more responsibility, or less responsibility. Sometimes, I know, oftentimes you get up the chain. It's like less work, less responsibility, more money. Isn't that great? It's called seniority. Yeah, we could really care less. My name's Mary. We're at the Governor Hill Mansion in Augusta, Maine. And I have 4 children here, and my youngest 2 are in the hands of sick murderers, pedophiles, and what these pieces of shit fucking druggies, activists, and nasty fucking investigators have been doing around here for years, and taking advantage of these situations and protecting their fucking buddies is disgusting. It's exactly what's been happening in the other places, and what happens is these guys all start protecting the fucking nasty teeny boppers who got brushed upon or are involved with those places for doing drugs and partying and auditioning, and then they play victim just because they're on the list and that place is getting associated to what? That's why they've been swaying the news and opinions the way they have been, and they've been cashing in big time playing victims while the real victims get ignored and killed and targeted by these goons. Right, so we could care less. We're no victims. We're already dead. Our children are victims. And the proper authorities need to step up and acknowledge the facts we've been talking about, what happened with the private investigator, how they were vaccinated behind our back and all that stuff. It needs to be addressed. And you fucking nasty cunts around here need to pack your shit and get the fuck out of here. Just a suggestion. Oh, because I said the word need? I strongly suggest you pack your shit and get the fuck out of here. Yeah, I can say that. I can say you need to as well. Who cares? Right. Yeah, it's just a friendly suggestion. With what they've been doing around here, it's amazing that they're not already gone, to be quite frank with you, like the others. Funny how they're associated to them and lick each other's assholes and cut each other's throats, you sick fucking donkeys. Hopefully. We sure hope so. Yeah, and if I were you, dude, I'd be selling your businesses, for real. I'm surprised you're still alive. The infinite word of love has really sounded. From now on, love is the only word in the world, and all other words, all other propositions, all other meanings, are only an expression and a vessel for that one word. Every finite word gives out the sound of the finite word of love. What's that? Excuse me? Oh, you want to use what other people are doing as an excuse to justify this and what's yeah, you can't do that, but you can, I guess. It's sick and immoral. You understand that, right? I know they use like the sick lies and delusions of like people's parents and children, their fear about ghosts, aliens, very concerned that they think they have a chip in their head. Are you sure? I mean, were they joking? Were they just telling a joke? They were talking about the movie Carrie. Well, that doesn't mean they're going to burn the place down. You think they're going to poison you? Okay. Right, so then when we have, right, they're calling the ghost hunters and playing all these fucking games. And what's already been going on over the years and with the abuse that we know to be happening with our children, you can imagine how traumatizing that is to our dead souls, you know? Yeah. Thank you. You're welcome, but yeah, they use those things as excuses to justify what they're doing. And when you see what's actually happening here, Catholic Charities, it's been going on with a lot of those things over the years, the immigration, the fraud, No Child Left Behind, Fred Wheeler. Go back between 2008 and 2012, they seem to want to forget all that and just tell their stories of recovery and how great and beautiful they are. It's fucking sick. They're sick, disgusting, disturbing people. You're so strong and brave. Right. So hopefully the proper authorities do what they're supposed to do to help our children. Do you have any suggestions without breaking the law? Because we're law-abiding citizens and we're just trying to help people understand the facts. And that pisses a lot of people off. And then they demand that people do something about us speaking the truth and they feel threatened by us. And it's very disturbing and sick and disgusting how they've been clogging the systems with those things over the years. I agree. Thank you. Nevertheless, the eternal truth speaks in our language and uses human concepts. This entry of the infinite content into the finite container is the reason for the apparently paradoxical character of the Lord's words. Approached with the standards of logic and philosophy, they become a series of riddles, and the profound mysteries they express are reduced to... Oh, I skipped a line. Approached with the standards of logic and philosophy, they become a series of riddles and apparent contradictions, unless, of course, they are modified and the profound mysteries they express are reduced to some moral truth or other and turned into a commonplace. It's a great sentence. Approached with the standards of logic and philosophy, they become a series of riddles and apparent contradictions, unless, of course, they are modified and the profound mysteries they expressed are reduced to some moral truth or other and turned into a commonplace. What a ramble from, right, this was written in 1953, this book, The Word. I mean, what a deep, a well understood, statement. A statement that shows their well understanding. Right. Amazing. What a beautiful sentence. Approached with the standards of logic and philosophy, they become a series of riddles and apparent contradictions, unless, of course, they are modified and the profound mysteries they expressed are reduced to some moral truth or other and turned into a commonplace. This comes from the fact that we try to measure the infinite with our standards instead of allowing our finite selves to be measured by it. Our standards break to pieces on God because His truth is absolute and all embracing. Human logic builds up a system of known and clearly understood propositions. It is the art of excluding everything unknown and unproven from within a limited truth, and of introducing clarity and evidence of a sort into a fenced-in enclosure. It is concerned with a completely closed sphere of truth, where there is no place for the unproven, that is, for anything we cannot measure. Logical truth is a concluding truth, a finite truth, whereas the Lord's truth is explosive, opens the way and draws us progressively into the explosive truth. Human truth is always presented in the form of a series, of a chain, and it is consequential. Touched by divine truth, the whole chain breaks at once, or else each individual link is burst open by the explosion. The paradoxical character of the Lord's words is due to that explosive element being introduced into the form of human logic, because the divine truth appeared in human dress. Human truth is finite and is consequently always bounded by another proposition. By its contrary, divine truth, on the other hand, is infinite. It cannot therefore be bounded by anything, not even by its contrary. It therefore contains its opposite when in the form of a human statement, and that element in it must never be weakened, explained away, or disregarded. The administrator of divine truth is the bride of the Lord, the Church. When she speaks in the same name and with the authority of the Lord, she takes all human thought forms and logic prisoner, and is empowered to explode them in the name of God. The truth of God cannot be measured by the evidence of human truth and insight, and similarly, human evidence cannot be used as a coat of apparel against the truth proclaimed by the Church. It must, on the contrary, submit to the all-embracing evidence of divine truth, which is alive in the Church. For just as the Christian no longer lives, but Christ lives in him, so too he no longer thinks, except he allows Christ's thought to live in him. The Word, no man has seen God at any time. The only begotten Son, who is in the bosom of the Father, he has declared him. Yes, just 1 second. I was going to turn that around. It's a beautiful day, huh? We're on page 154. You're welcome. To see God means to see love. To see God means to love Him so that one can grasp His love. For God is love, and no one sees God except those who love Him. To see God, therefore, means to be so completely in God and His love that nothing except His love matters to us, concerns us, or moves us, so that in everything that happens to us, concerns us, touches us, we only allow ourselves to be moved by His love. To gaze upon Him with loving eyes is quite beside the point, for God is spirit. We must look at Him with the love that makes us see. Right, so someone, right, that you know to be doing good, it's not going to do you wrong. Right, you might have a different energy or a smile or a presence when you see them. Now, someone that you know is lying and doing wrong to others, hurting others, abusing others, protecting child pedophilia, horrible people. Pedophilic. Pedophilic? Is that a word? Pedophilic? Yeah. Yeah, you might not look at them so nicely. Right, when you know the abuse that's happening. Right, and then when they're ignoring it, not only ignoring it, but laughing at you, and allowing abuses and insane investigations. Okay? Right, over the years that has baffled us, and over again we're just like, okay, here we go again, another round of people analyzing and setting up their listening devices, and absolutely fucking disgusting. And when they have these people, you know, who live very close in your vicinity playing along with that stuff, and a lot of them are going, holy crap, look at what they're actually doing. Right, and then they try to get those people against each other by giving them that authority and capability. Right, it's gotten passed so many times, they keep passing that buck to other people, so then, okay, they'll be mad at each other, let them fight it out with each other, and we'll go over here. Yeah, that's pretty much what a lot of them have been doing with these things and investigations within the FBI and Secret Service, and getting their kids involved with getting the Karen and the non-vaxxer and the bullies, and it's gotten so bad and disgusting and disturbing, the lack of communication with people in these situations. And they avoid those conversations, I think, because they know to have those conversations exposes the truth, and then that means they can't carry on with the businesses they're setting up or whatever they're planning. And they would rather ignore those concerns that they can't prove anyways to be able to continue setting up shop and making money with their other businesses. Yeah, by 2015-16, it was way beyond traumatizing, disturbing. It's so bad. It was so bad. And we've tried talking, and that's all documented, how we've tried talking to the people around here and how they respond. And just like with other people, you just bring up a few of the things. You try to mention, well, what about the private investigator who shot himself? Don't. He was in mental illness. I should have brought him to the hospital. And then they're all just repeating each other's bullshit. What about the little boy that got beat up in the tub? A little brat. It's just a whack. The brat probably deserved it. And then they're repeating those things. Right, and then, oh, you saw him throw some food on the floor to the kid one time? Were they feeding him like a dog? Here you go, Poochie. I mean, hold on, right? And then other people start repeating that stuff, these little rumors. And when you see that's directly directed towards certain people, right, what's sick and disturbing is how some of those people, the things they were involved with, and those little tidbits makes it look like those things are associated to other people. Yeah, they see that. That's what we're trying to tell the people around here, holding strong to their grounds, that they feel justified in what they've been doing to us and our children. Yeah, like I said, many of them don't believe the abuse is real. They think it's all in our heads. And just the other stuff they're trying to justify is sick enough, but we understand, because that's how things work, so we're like, okay. When are we going to address the actual concerns and facts? I mean, it's all fine and dandy, you guys want to address these little tissue issues. What about the vaccine-injured children? Conspiracy! And then that just gives them more of a reason to be scared of you and demand that people medicate you and lock you up and that you're a threat to society. Okay, so then you get put into submission. You don't even dare to say the word vaccine. This is what they've been doing to people. They did it to me, and we're already dead. And this sick fuck has abused our children in unspeakable ways. Believe me when I say, you're gonna fucking pay. You're gonna get exactly what you deserve. Right, so maybe not in this particular situation. You gotta understand, they know. They fucking know. And if it even comes close to them being exposed or busted, we see murder-suicides with these situations. How can anyone with any fucking clarity or decency ignore this and what's happening here if you understand these networks? Right, so when you don't understand them and you try to get that to be reported on news networks,
I know, right? And then when they're all tied up with the same fucking activists committing these sick fucking crimes and bullshit in our communities, trafficking and doing a lot of designer drugs, tasing, hating, making films, ghost hunting, alien hunting, getting stories, cartel investigations. You people are fucking sick. So while all this has been happening, the facts that we speak are true, and the proper authorities need to do something about it. Right, it's hard, right? It's hard to get them to report their own bullshit, huh? I'm pretty sure even the president has been saying that for years. They're all lying, the news networks. Right. And then when the druggies and people around here are right fucking gone and telling our children, we're dangerous, we might kill them. Yeah, okay. Uh, yeah, that's exactly what they tell them. They put fear in them. We might feed them a tree nut. You know, it's pretty bad. Might take off and drive them off a cliff. Okay. They're psychotic. And these druggies and the people that are protecting druggies and sluts that are saying that are just trying to protect their own nasty fucking doings. Do-gooders. Yeah, it's pretty scary to us. Right, so you can help by speaking the truth, exposing the things we're talking about. These are all facts. There's nothing I said that's not true. And the fact that people are scared to talk about the vaccines and SSRIs and haven't been, and those same people in networks and channels directly connected to those activists and sick fucking people, whether you want to call them Republicans or Democrats or liberals or fucktards or retards or sick motherfucking pieces of shit. Inhumane people that act like they're so good. And they love animals. Wow, nasty fucking people. Yeah, when you see some of the businesses they've set up and different things, yeah. It's pretty bad, isn't it? I see that. I know, just looking at that. There's a few of those around here too. Yeah, I know, and those are some of the things they've been trying to get implemented into the public systems, and over the years, these sick fucking people in these communities, they don't let it get put out into the public systems, and then they try to cash in on it with their little private businesses. And I was like, are you people that sick? And they always try to make it like weird, sexual. It's grotesque, the things they say and do. And I know they've used a lot of the statements and the doings of our parents, and then they pat them on the back and love them and turn them against us and make them fear us. We've been watching this cycle through. I know, it's like we're right here. Even the people that work with us, I think, are like, what the fuck? I know, to the point where, isn't it like Eminem's cousin is one of the ones that comes to see us. She said she was his cousin. I don't know. Maybe it could have been in my dreams. I heard her say it, maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's my imagination. They do have the same last name. But I mean, between her saying that and they have the same last name, I mean, it's possible. They might not even get along. I don't know. They may have never even met. I have no idea. I know, I thought it was funny because I was writing her name on some of the paperwork for, was it, yeah, one of the trespassing things, or, what do you call that when you get a protective, yeah, it was one of those things, and I'm filling out the paperwork, and I wrote her last name as Marshall. Funny. No, it doesn't mean anything. Just for the fact of people to wake up, where over the years what's been going on and trying to get those understandings through to people, and how they just jump on board these personal identity stories, trying to be better than, and then just really trying to make other people look bad. It's sick. It's sick and disgusting and disturbing. I think a lot of people involved with these situations get confused when these people start talking, and trust me, I know. I sit and I see it and I listen to it and I have looked at it right in the face and gone, you know what you're saying is a direct lie and total bullshit. Okay. And then when you mention very serious things and they want to roll their eyes at her, like it's no big deal, you're like, you have to know how frustrating that is for anyone with common sense, that right there is what's killing innocent people. I'm not gonna be talked to like this. Okay. Anyways, I really hope the proper authorities, do what they're supposed to do to help these kids. They're laughing at me. Sometimes their laughs get me laughing. It makes me happy, some of them, to see them laugh too, because I don't see you laugh too often, so that made me pretty happy. Oh, thank you. You're welcome. I'm going to try to finish this. I've got a few more pages here. What's this at? Alright, we're at 41 minutes. Let's see if we can finish this by, let's see, 147 I'm going to try to finish this by. I should say 148 to be safe. Yeah, because it's at it's 41 and a half. Alright. So 48 minutes. 48 minutes. What did I say? This is even true of love between human beings. If I love you and want to explain to a friend who you are and what you mean to me, I am obliged to tell him about your physical and spiritual characteristics. I should try to describe you as I see you in my love. But if there is no love in him, even the most affectionate picture I could paint would leave him cold. But if there is no love in him, even the most affectionate picture I could paint would leave him cold. If, on the other hand, he loves me, then the picture of you I sketched for him will at least awaken in him a desire to know you. His love for me will arouse something in him which is a possible love for you. At first, he will only see a rough sum of separate human qualities. If he feels drawn to go farther, he may perhaps begin to draw comparisons. He will discover the qualities which I have described among other men known to him, and he can compare them in order to allow your portrait to come alive. But there comes a moment when all these means fail. There is a final mysterious, unapproachable residue, something infinite that defies description, something that can only be reached in love itself. Yes, okay, thank you. And what is more in a love which possesses the key to that heavenly door behind which your final secret, your original image, your word, is deposited in God? The only approach to this mystery of yours is through faith in God and through love of God. It is only in God that men can really love one another. There is something in you, and it is this that constitutes the very core of your being. What is lovable in you that comes from God and makes you into a vessel of God's mystery, whereas all your other qualities and characteristics, being exchangeable, are a matter of indifference? There is a magic about this one element that makes you infinitely lovable in God. That magic, which I can only discover in love, is one with the love with which God loves you. All your other merits are as nothing compared with that love. It is your essence, it is what you are and comes from and is God. A friend who only knows the human aspect will want you to get to know your essential being more and more closely by studying your characteristics. But the more accurate his study, the farther he gets from your true image, and he ends by gathering together lifeless bricks and mortar. At the very most, he will only make of you what he is capable of imagining. He will construct an image of you instead of contemplating you.
He can only see you if he has the key, which is the love of God. Since the love of God is the key to seeing one's neighbor, it might be thought that perhaps the key could only be used in the case of other Christians. For I know that as a Christian I can embrace and enfold and enclose my co-Christians in the Spirit of God. I have direct access to them. But in fact, nothing prevents me from including the non-Christian and the anti-Christian in the same love of God. For what comes from God in him is infinitely greater and more essential than that which comes from him. Moreover, although I can embrace a Christian more easily and quickly in my love, because love shines through him, he is less limited and consequently less easy to take in at a glance than the non-Christian. What's that? 45:44. In the case of non-Christians, one can pass quickly through all the spheres that lie fallow, whereas in the Christian they are alive and fruitful. Fallow, another word for the crossword. Where Christians are concerned, there is always the possibility of going to the heart of things and digging out the essential, but only because they are richer, more differentiated than non-Christians. One touches on vital matters more quickly because they themselves are more alive. As a Christian, a man is open and expansive towards me because he is so to God, whereas the non-Christian is reserved, drawn together, bent over himself. Everything in a Christian has direction, a movement towards God, and if I look in that direction, I am led towards his original image in God, and accomplishing with him the movement of his inmost love, I learn to know him as he should be in God. We can therefore grasp our neighbor, contemplating him within the love of God, and can do so formlessly, at least in this world. By the grace of God, we can see our neighbor through love, though we cannot see God in this world. We cannot see God because our love is not perfect. One can see one's neighbor imperfectly, but God, who is perfect, cannot be seen by one who is imperfect. Even the purity that is ours after confession is not pure enough for that, for our want of love is something more than our particular forgivable sins. Our love is not entirely devoted to the love of God. To see God is something indivisible, and once one has seen God, one can no longer take one's gaze off him, and fundamentally we have no wish to see God now because we know in our heart of hearts that we must first of all finish with our sins. Here, below, we cannot love perfectly, and the vision of God presupposes perfect love. No man, therefore, has seen God. The contemplation and vision that occurs in and through love is only a beginning, a hint of what is promised. So, to see God in love, in our common love for one another, there is a hint of foreboding, another F word for the crossword, a foreboding of the mystery of God's infinity, the full affirmation of which would be the vision of God. The only begotten has declared him. He is the only Son. The parting of Father and Son is unique and unrepeatable. Once it is consummated, only one thing can follow, and finite dispersal, the Eucharist. He is the only begotten Son, and we follow immediately after. We, who are so numerous, has to be innumerable, and yet the numbered sons of God. There is no sort of connection between the first and the second parting. The first is unique, the second unending. If the first were vertical, the second would be horizontal. The Son makes the Father known because he is the Father's gift of communication. From the moment he comes on earth, he is the Eucharist. He was the Eucharist since the beginning of the world in the light of his willingness and of his mission. He does not come into the world in order to depart, but in order to expend himself among us. He comes as one who is love. He unites in himself the Father's love for the world through him, and our love which goes through him to the Father. He is the center between God and us. That is why he is love, for love is always the center. It is the center, just as light is the center from which the rays of light radiate.
That does not hinder the fact that all light comes from the Father, for the Son is the absolute center. He is the Word in the beginning, in the bosom of the Father. The Father is the light, and love is the radiation. And the only way in which we can be struck by His love is by being innumerable. Just as the Lord in the Eucharist makes Himself innumerable, so as to become one, we too must be innumerable in order to become one again in the Lord. In our multiplicity, the unity of the Lord is merged in His love, so that our multiplicity may be reduced to the unity of love. At 50, it is only in that unity that we can see Him, and the Father in Him. Yeah, I almost said 54. It looks like probably 51 or 52. Actually, 54 probably would have been a better bet. It's almost 51 now. I need a sip of water. You know what? Forget it. I'm such a failure. I'm just kidding. It is only in that unity that we can see Him and the Father in Him. The Eucharist represents the quantitative extreme of love of every host, and every host is of equal value. The Eucharist represents the quantitative extreme of love. Quantitative extreme of love. The Eucharist represents the quantitative extreme of love, and every host is of equal value. It contains the same love of man, whether man is worthy or not, good or bad, whether he receives communion with or without love. Good. I'm going to finish this. We're almost to the end of this book. This is the end of the book. I'm going to finish it. It contains the same love of man, whether it is worthy or not, good or bad, whether he receives communion with or without love, or even if he communicates sacrilegiously. Sacrilegiously, that is sacrilegious. There was a few years where that term was really popular, huh? It's sacrilegious. The Lord's love strikes upon us all, whatever our state of preparedness, and having thus moved us, He recognizes our thanks. Humanly speaking, so very variable, has a sign of love, so very variable. And having thus moved us, He recognizes our thanks. Humanly speaking, so very variable, has a sign of love. In that way, He reveals the Father, who allows the Son, S-U-N, who allows the Son to shine upon the just and the unjust. He does not choose or elect or select. He spends His love regardless and loves without preference. It is the Son who forces the Father to show no preference. But for the Son, love would also be the law of justice. Thank you. So someone's trying to just completely debunk all of this by saying, well, of course I'm going to feel more love for my son than another. Well, I mean, if you hear, hey, some kid was just killed. Oh, another one? It's awful. Your kid was just killed. That might change your response a little bit, right? Right, so what this is referring to is that kid just stole a candy bar. Lock him up. You know, we can't be letting these mongrels get away with everything. You gotta put your foot down, I'm telling you right now. You can't let him have an inch, I'm telling you. You know, your kid stole a candy bar. You know what, let me talk to him. I'm sure it must have been something. I bet you those kids, they told him to do it. Well,
You just said the other kid did the same thing. Yeah, well, that kid comes from, look at the neighborhood he comes from. Yeah, so he probably needed the candy bar more than your kid, right? Over the years we do these classes for a reason, but... So what, some people will try to say, oh, that's BS, because of course you're gonna love someone more than you love another. Right? It's okay for you to rub my ass. You can't rub my ass. Well, you can, but I might smack you for it. Right, some, right, no, you rub me, I'll rub you. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Right, you see how there's levels here? I'll ride in a car with you, but no, there's no way I'm riding in a car if they're driving. There's no way. Oh, I'll walk, or take a bus, or I just won't go. I'll stay home. Are you kidding me? I know, and miss out on all the fun. Right, so you get the difference there, right? They ran a stop sign. Give them a ticket, that son of a bitch. They pissed me off last week at the grocery store. Give them a double ticket. And when your kid runs a stop sign, you're like, so what? Big deal. Are you kidding me? Gonna give them a ticket for running a stop sign? Get the fuck out of here. People are getting killed up the street. Go get those crackheads. It's just standards, right? These are simple things and understandings that can be put to the forefront very easily, and they all ignore it because they do it. They're sick, disgusting, and disturbing people. Right, and they won't report on it because it's as though they believe we're saying you're fucking the kids, or they're admitting to some guilt or accountability to the crimes that those sick punks are doing. It's like, no, you're just protecting them to get the Karens and the bullies and the non-vaxxers and do the cartel investigations, things we very much depend on. That's why it's like, yeah, okay, that's fine. How many years have we said that? We've even said the attempted murder, fine. Okay. No, it's not, but... Yeah, when you understand the networks this is connected to in the history here, yeah, we'll shake that off, dude, no fucking problem. I really hope so. 57. Okay, we'll see if I can do this before the hour is up here. Where were we? I'm just going to start here. The Lord's love strikes upon us all, whatever our state of preparedness. And having thus moved us, he recognizes our thanks. Humanly speaking, so very variable, has a sign of love. And that way he reveals the Father, who allows the sun to shine upon the just and the unjust. He does not choose or elect or select. He spends his love regardless and loves without preference. It is the Son who forces the Father to show no preference, but for the Son, love would also be the law of justice. The Son outshines the law and becomes the law of love. The law was dissolved in love, but the Son can be known because he was in the Word, and because we have acknowledged his incarnation. He forms the bridge between seeing our neighbor, a duty incumbent upon us, and seeing God, which is impossible. And then again, the Apostle John forms the bridge between us and the Son, though through his entirely human, friendly love for the Lord. One should not scorn genuine human friendship as a way to God. One should not scorn genuine human friendship as a way to God, and certainly not set up an antithesis between the love of one's friends and love of one's neighbors. For since we are human, living in a human framework, Christian love itself unfolds gradually, starting from friendship. John has the friend of the Lord is the mediator of love, the original model,
and image of each and everyone who leads us to the love of the Lord. He gives us a description of the Lord in which we see him close to and human. His love for the Lord shines in his description and reveals the love of the Lord. In this, John is the archetype of the priest who leads us to God. Just as the Lord is the archetype of the Father's love, since the Father's love could only be revealed by the love of Christ and not by his teaching only, we are given John, the beloved disciple, who reveals the Lord's love through his own love. The end. Now, which one do you want to start? Oh yes, I know which one we're doing. The imprimatur is dated 21st of July, 1949. I say C-H-U-R, chur. No one has signed this out. The St. Paul Lending Library. Yeah, that's what I was gonna look at. Oh, it's used as an expression of good wishes or of good wishes on parting. So when someone's saying goodbye, it's like saying good wishes. Am I saying it right? Sure. Like sure? Sure? Like sure.
Chur.
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 Chur. It's kind of like sure.
Chur.
Sure. Yes, we'll start the other one in a little bit. It is 12:41 here. Yeah, thank you. Look at that sheet of clouds. It's a sheet of bubble clouds. It gets wavy over there. Waves and bubbles. See the waves? And bubbles. Look at that. That looks incredible, actually. You see that? I don't know, just the whole lot of it seems unique. Cool. All right, we're gonna do some reading in a little bit. Right now I'm just having some water. Probably, let's see. Nope, no coffee or tea. Probably just gonna have some water for now. Well, I have coffee and tea. I'm not gonna have any right now.